Hello everybody, my name is Nick and welcome to Book Talk, where today we'll be taking a look at Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Now this book you may or may not have been forced to read at some point in school. Myself, this is not the kind of book I would have ever intended to read by myself, but we had to read it and write a report on it in school. And I was honestly surprised at how much it impacted me, and I quickly saw that there was a reason why they wanted us to read it in school, because it's, for its relatively short length, it's not even a novel, it's a novella. It's so deep and has so much emotion and has so much of the human condition in it that you can't help but be affected by it. Now this copy is funny story about that. This copy I found on the street. I used to go around delivering catalogues for a bit of extra cash, and I just found it in the gutter one day, and it was obvious that it had dropped out of a kid's bag, the school kid's bag, or it was discarded by them. I know at my school sometimes they'd just throw the books we were supposed to read away, which, you know, got me right here, it hurt. And I didn't want to see it going to waste. Now I could have tried to hunt down where it went back to, but I know these things, it looked quite old at the time, and I know these things they replace quite frequently, or they try to, and I didn't want to see it go to waste, so I took it, and I felt it was kind of proper to do so, because this is the book that stuck with me most at school. Now I will give a bit of a warning about this book, because it was written in the 1930s, so it has some language in it that was not exactly appropriate for these days, but the story in it is as timeless as they ever come, and it can still have a real emotional impact on you. So what is this story? It's the story of George and Lenny, a relatively small, usual guy, smart guy, and a large, slow, for lack of a better word, man. And George kind of takes care of Lenny because he's kind of unable to take care of himself, and they're basically wandering through America and trying to find the American dream, if that really exists, and they have been driven out of a few different places because of misunderstandings that Lenny's got himself into. And George all the time protects him and tries to make amends, but sometimes they just have to move on. Not least because Lenny has a habit of, well, he loves animals and he loves to pet animals, but because he's so big and he's so heavy-handed, he doesn't know his own strength. So he unfortunately ends up crushing the animals, and that's half the reason why people are so scared of him. Now I will be spoiling this entire book because it's only short, but I feel it's worth going into full detail with it, just because well, most of us know the story of it, and I think it deserves being covered in full. So they're traveling across America and they get given work on this farm, and they're working. Lenny is really effective at lifting like hay bales and doing manual labor jobs. But he wants nothing more than to tend the rabbits. But because of his past experiences with being too rough with them, he has to earn the trust to do that. But they're working there for a while, and things seem to be going well. So well, in fact, that they got offered a plot of land. Like they get a chance to settle down and have a farm of their own. But that's kind of scuppered a little bit by the son of the man who owns the barn, who's a little bit of a, well, let's not beat around the bush, he's an asshole. And he has a wife who comes across as somewhat flirtatious, and like she comes on to everybody all the time, but her story is that she had all these dreams and they were kind of crushed by her husband, and so she kind of flirts with the farmhands to kind of get back at him. And so like George and Lenny are working, and Lenny's like petting like some puppies that have recently been born. I'm pretty sure that's the case, and he accidentally kills one because it's just the way things go with him. And then the wife comes in and she starts talking to Lenny. She's flirting with him a few times, and she notes how he likes soft things. So she's like flirtatiously saying, "Oh, stroke my hair" and stuff. So he's stroking her hair, and then she kind of gets scared at the fact that he's so big, and she's like, "Oh no!" And then he kind of gets scared because Lenny's been warned about her. He's been kind of like been told by George, "Stay away from her. She's a bit of trouble." And he's like, "Oh, if I get caught with her, I'm going to get into trouble. I'm not going to be able to tend the rabbits." And so he kind of grabs her instinctually and tries to say, "No, don't. I don't want to hurt you and everything. Just chill." She keeps struggling. He keeps holding her tighter, and eventually, he snaps her neck, and then he freaks out and pegs it. And then naturally her body is uncovered, and George is like, "I can't do this anymore. I had a chance at settling down and it's just not doable anymore." Now the farmhounds want to go and lynch the guy, but George is like, "No, let me do it, I'll do it myself." So he tracks down Lenny, and he's like, and Lenny's like, "I didn't mean to, I'm scared and stuff." And George is like, he's kind of annoyed with him, but he's also sympathetic because he's like, "I know, but this can't go on anymore." And he tells him a story about, pretty sure he tells him a story about like their plan, their dream, and he tells him to face away and kneel down, and he has to shoot him basically. And it's just so sad, just the fact that it came to that, the fact that George basically gave up opportunities to look after Lenny because he was like a brother to him. And even though he tries over and over again to make a life for them, it doesn't work out, and now something that he basically can't come back from has happened, and he'd prefer to, put his friend out of his misery himself rather than let a lynch mob do it and cause him more pain. And I've spoken before about how I like stories with good character development, and they explore the human condition. I think this story explores the human condition better than most. But yeah, it's implied that later George is able to live the life he wants to live, but he's going to always be haunted by what happened. So yeah, considering it's such a short book, it packs so much in, so much humanity and so much emotion in such a small read time, so few pages, that you can't help but appreciate it. And yeah, I just wanted to quickly go over this one, but maybe a bit shorter than usual, but that was Of Mice and Men. And if you didn't read it in school, then I would absolutely recommend that you take a look at it. You could probably finish it in a day, if that. Anyways, my name's Nick. Please subscribe if you liked the video, and if you want me to take a look at anything in particular, then leave it down in the comments. Other than that, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.